R. Newman, and this is August 2017's Helios Tarot Forecast, drawn to match and speak to your personal astrological zodiac sign. Check out my website, iamhelios.com, and investigate all that I have to offer there, personal readings, courses, etc., and subscribe if you would like to receive updates. Also follow the link below to Annie Botticelli's Storyteller forecasts and be fascinated by how astrology plays into this all so beautifully. Okay, let's get started. Okay, Capricorn, here is your 5-card tarot spread for the month of August. You have a central theme, 2-dimensional timeline options, a past section, and a fate section. In your central theme, that which embodies the overall arc of this tarot spread, you have the Three of Swords. So all of the threes in tarot correspond to the, of course, sphere 3 on the Tree of Life, also known as Binah, or understanding, which has to do with the left hemisphere of the brain. And as manifest through air or through swords, this is actually indecision and the contemplation of a potential consequence of that indecision. The experience of this kind of indecision can actually generate the experience of sorrow or a melancholy perspective, and can make you feel quite cynical at times. However, there is a huge beacon of hope in your future just over the horizon, and we'll get there when we come to it. But of course, we have to consider what you're going to do with this potential that you have right now, and it is a potential because the emphasis here is not on the experience that you're having, but on the choices that you're going to make and what you're going to do with it. Obviously, indecision is not intended to be a perpetual sort of experience, so a decision has to be made. So what shall you decide? On the one hand, you have the Prince of Discs. Now, the Prince of Discs, like all of the court cards, and there are 16 of them, correspond with the 16 Myers-Briggs personality profiles. You may or may not have been aware of that connection, but I guarantee it is not mere coincidence. The personality of this court member can be summed up by the profile ESFP, or the extroverted sensing, feeling, perceiver. This is a hard-working personality type. This is somebody who's very spontaneous, but also very, very loyal, very gradual, very consistent and reliable. Somebody who juggles multiple projects at one time. You know, somebody who's very generous, but somebody who also understands that they personally are only guaranteed to go around once in life, so they want to make the most of it, and the best way they know how to make the most of it is to devote themselves utterly to the facets of life that can potentially prove to be most fruitful and most rewarding. So this is a path upon which you would activate this aspect of yourself, or the path upon which this personality profile would naturally emerge effortlessly. The personality profile of the Prince of Discs is one that rests quite comfortably within the Capricornian archetype. Practical, responsible, resourceful, persistent, etc. With a subtle flavor of spontaneity and a love for surprises, just enough to maintain a sense of engagement and focus, with the wheels in your head turning. So this is a path of problem solving, increased clarity, application of strategies to get yourself out of that which you have been so perhaps indecisive or sorrowful or feeling hopeless about. So consider the areas of your life that are the best match for such themes to derive a greater level of specificity from this reading. So considering the alternate path, the moon, being one of complete illusions, not knowing what is going on, not knowing where to turn, certainly a predictable development or logical next step to the Three of Swords. Certainly a further reaching manifestation of the consequences of indecision. So put most simply, the choice that you're faced with is not so much between two distinct options, but between making a decision or not making a decision. Perpetuating the uncertainty and perpetuating the indecisive nature of the situation, whatever the situation this tarot spread is speaking to. It could be anything in your life, really. It just takes some personal reflection to hone in on what that is. Or making a decision and sticking with it. Most importantly, the Prince of Discs is a personality that sticks with the decision. And again, the Prince of Discs is no stranger to spontaneity. Your decision can be spontaneous, and I would encourage you to let it be. Let it be very free-flowing and natural and random, because where you're going is quite positive. The Priestess is the point at which you become reconnected with the source of your power. The Priestess is the companion to the Mage. The mage, of course, wields power, wields magical forces to actualize miraculous manifestations of potentiality, but the priestess is potentiality. So you coming into contact with that or reconnecting with that is actually you stepping up into a state of power, a state of empowerment that wasn't there before, and certainly is not there in the Three of Swords. But looking further back into your past, you did, in fact, have a glimpse of this through the Seven of Wands. Now, the 7 corresponds with Sphirith 7 on the Tree of Life, which is Netzach, or victory, endurance, patience, and is often equated to the harsh kindness of God. Often your personal interaction with some kind of blockage or temporary obstacle that allows you to build up, the incentive and the motivation and the inspiration to burst through, and then, that potential energy, once released, allows you to blast through similar obstacles in the future. So there is, through the experience of that, an increased level of, a sense of your own strength and confidence and perhaps optimism, however you are, of course, in this Three of Swords, unsure about what exactly to do with that. Sphirith 7 manifests differently through each element, and through fire or through wands, which is what you have in your past here, this is courage, pride, and faith in one's own strength, after having been challenged, after having been stifled or hindered or delayed. So I do not doubt that you have everything that you need in whether it's the furthest reaches of your past, the furthest reaches of your memory, or your most recent past, to make the decision, to have the confidence and the trust to make the decision, even if it feels entirely spontaneous. I think that you have actually thoroughly developed an experiential kind of understanding of the need to make choices, to actively participate in the unfolding of your life, rather than simply, juggle potentials seemingly endlessly. Because, as we can see here, that ultimately leads to ever-increasing levels of uncertainty, through themes that are a match for the moon here on your left-hand dimensional timeline choice. So it's important to remember, of course, that we're not really necessarily here to get there or to get anywhere. We're here to be here. So don't rush through this experience of indecision. There's something in it for you. You're building up some kind of pressure, similar to the way you had before through the Seven of Wands, behind that temporary obstacle. It has its place. The experience and the uncertainty and the not knowing, in whatever way you are not knowing at this point in your life, it has a purpose, it has a place, and it's actually leading you towards the rediscovery of your power. And I say rediscovery because this is a place that we have all come from. This is the source of all things, the source of all things in creation, and we are certainly a member of that group. We are members of creation. So, active members we are. So, the time to make a choice is now. And let it be spontaneous, because that's just more fun. This is about electing the quality of your experience, not so much about electing your fate. But hey, that's just my opinion, or at least that's my opinion right now. So that about wraps all of this up. I thank you so much for watching this and for listening to this. Don't forget to check out my website, IamHelios.com, and consider taking a course there or signing up for one of my personal readings to take this so much deeper, so much further than we have here. Thank you.